Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You guys wanted some Dragon Age news? Well, now you got it. This just dropped a few hours ago from good old Game Rant, and it's going to show the blatant hypocrisy and the absolute terrible notion of their ideology regarding wokeness in gaming. Apparently, the Dragon Age creator addresses the Veilguard's woke criticism and tries to claim that people who are criticizing the game for being woke are just tourists.
You are really dumb, for real.
It's actually pretty damn amazing to me that I feel like I was one of the channels that originally coined that term tourist. I remember years ago using that term in the live stream when we were talking about gaming and movies and whatnot. And yet now everybody's using that word. And that particular side is trying to adopt that word as their latest term, right? Because grifter now has no meaning. So now they're going to take the word tourist and try to make that have no meaning. But that's besides the point. They're trying to say that Veilguard's criticism about it being woke is not true, and that the game is has always been woke. So let's get into this article, guys, from the Game Rant. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. We got some key takeaways here. It says Dragon Age series creator David Gator dismissed the notion of the Veilguard turning the series woke. Gator labeled the people propagating this criticism as tourists, implying that the Dragon Age franchise has always been woke. Now, again, guys, let's be very clear. When people use the word woke, they don't use it by the actual definition of the term. It's unfortunate, but it's true. It's one of those words that have lost its meaning, and people just apply it however they want. It's ironic that these are the people who are trying to say that Dragon Age has always been woke, but then when other people call the game woke for featuring, I don't know, LGBTQ propaganda or whatever, they're the first ones to say that their sexual identity is not propaganda and it's not political. So if that's the case, then it can't be woke based off of that, but yet you're the one who's calling all the Dragon Ages before it woke because of what reason? We're going to find out. The criticism of Dragon Age Veilguard becoming woke is uninformed. It's not. Series creator David Gator has suggested all the while labeling those who propagate it as tourists. Because clearly people who don't like the obvious modern day bullshit that's in this game, right? Like the top surgery scars is obviously the big one. That's the one people always talk about. And the reason why is because that only exists because of modern day. That is what makes it woke, right? LGBTQ relationships have always existed in Dragon Age. LGBTQ is not inherently woke on its own. LGBTQ propaganda is absolutely woke when you're trying to push LGBTQ nonsense in everyone's face and making that an option they must partake in, right? With the pronouns, by the way, you have to choose a pronoun, which means you have to partake in that particular ideology. When you remove the option, that makes it woke. If you just put the option in there for people that want to choose it or not choose it, then that just happens to be in there and doesn't necessarily make the game woke. It's a ridiculous notion, but they know this, right? Then again, he says his rebuttal is just the latest development in the culture wars that have recently encompassed the upcoming Dragon Age game. Multiple popular online boards, including the Veilguard Steam Discussions Forum, have lately been flooded with criticism about the fourth entry in the long-running franchise being woke. Some of the posters contributing to this wave of complaints seem to have taken issue with Dragon Age the Veilguard's companions being canonically pansexual, arguing that this attempt at offering diverse romance options robbed them of personality. That is true. That's the funny thing about all of this is that you think by being a whore, that's going to somehow give you more diverse romance options. No, there's nothing special about you. If you're going to fuck everything that moves, then there's nothing interesting about you, right? The fact of the matter is the characters in previous Dragon Age games, you were only able to romance certain characters based on their preferences because the characters all had preferences like real life people. It made them interesting. It made them different. But the fact that you're making all of these characters pansexual, they just want to fuck everything now. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing different. There's no limits. You can fuck everything. And that is so unbelievably boring and so damn stupid and doesn't actually make any sense whatsoever. But because these people themselves who advocate for this shit are pansexual retards themselves, they're the ones who are like, oh, no, it gives you more diversity. It's offering more romance options. Shut the fuck up. It's boring. Others appear to be irked by the game's diverse cast of characters for various stated reasons. Are you going to state the reasons, or are you just going to say that and not say anything? Dragon Age series creator David Gator has recently opted to respond to some of these complaints by remarking how the usual suspects are upset about how woke the game is. Apparently, sudden and unexpected development in the series. Following up on that train of thought, the industry veteran called the people who spread this sentiment fucking tourists in a recent Blue Sky post. And again, it's amazing that these losers are trying to make Blue Sky into a thing when Blue Sky is not a thing. All Blue Sky is their own echo chamber, right? It's what Twitter used to be for them. That's why they use it. They're trying to make Blue Sky into the place to be, but the fact of the matter is Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, is still the place to be because they're still on it all the time. The label was meant to imply that these critics are falsely presenting themselves as Dragon Age fans, who would know that the series had been categorized as woke from its very first entry, which hit the market back in 2019. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Nobody was calling these games woke. Absolutely nobody. Nobody was calling these fucking games woke because having LGBTQ relationships in RPG games like Dragon Age has been a thing for a long time. And if you are trying to say that people were calling this game woke and people on your side were calling this game woke since 2009, then you are inherently admitting that adding LGBTQ into a game automatically makes it woke. So other people calling it woke would not be incorrect. It's just you fell into your own trap there. In a subsequent interaction with another Blue Sky user, Gator clarified that he has no issues with people liking or disliking whatever they have seen for the upcoming Dragon Age game so far. That's a lie. That's a lie, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be calling them fucking tourists. His comment was instead merely intended to counter the notion that Veilguard introduces a new level of wokeness to the franchise. It does, though. By adding top surgery scars and pronouns, which are both modern day things that only exist in this game because of the current modern day, then yes, there is a new level of wokeness being added to this game. While the Dragon Age series has always been fairly inclusive, it started out before the word woke was even part of the widespread English vernacular, and long before it was adopted as a sarcastic pejorative for anything perceived as progressive. This could help explain why the first three mainline installments weren't as polarizing as they debuted at a time when widespread online culture wars of this sort were simply not a thing. You also got to keep in mind, which I'm sure Game Rant knows, but they're choosing to leave out because, again, these gaming journalists lie by omission. You also have to understand that at that time, having this kind of stuff in the game was written story first and agenda second, right? Most people weren't even trying to push their agenda. They were just trying to offer diverse relationships that were optional, that you could partake in if you so choose, or if you didn't want to partake in it, then that's fine. Just like you're allowed to have gay sex in all the Dragon Age games, you're just as allowed to have all the straight sex you want. I'm sure if you look at the analytics in terms of romance options, you'll realize that the straight romance options far outweigh the choices of the gay options, in the sense that most people probably picked the straight options because that's just how it is in real life. Now, again, they're trying to say the culture war wasn't a thing, and it's because you guys weren't acting the way that you were 10 years ago. Right? You guys were not ideological psychopaths up front like this for everyone to see. You had your occasionals, you know what I mean? You had your Anita Sarkeesians and whatnot, and I get that. But overall, it was a lot more calmer than it is now. You guys are just fucking insufferable. And now what's happening is there is a counterculture to the culture that you're trying to create and trying to make into a normal thing by normalizing it. And it's not going to happen very easily for you. It's just not. Then again, it says that Dragon Age Veilguard is slated to hit the market on October 31st, which, by the way, at the time of this recording, I do have a bet going on against ABF. If I lose the bet, well, looks like your boy's going to have to play Dragon Age Veilguard, just like Dustborn. But if I beat Dustborn, I could beat Dragon Age Veilguard, and I would not be paying for it. So don't worry about that. But again, guys, ultimately, this is just from someone who's angry that people aren't accepting the modern day bullshit that we all obviously see with our eyes. You can tell us that it's fucking raining gold, but it's not, okay? Like, these people clearly see that they're adding stuff for current modern day, and that's the only reason why it's there. Nobody's talking about the LGBTQ relationships because you were always able to do that. The pansexual thing is stupid. The pronoun shit is always stupid. And you telling people that they're tourists is also extremely stupid. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.